Hey everybody, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys. We're going to check in on the market after another euphoric week. We're going to talk about Trump telegraphing trades with some examples, the wild, insane valuations that the quantum sector currently has, and where the money is rotating amongst our major sectors. Learn how to trade stocks, crypto, and hype sectors with a global chat room led by professional traders, as well as daily live streams at chartguys.com. All right, so S&P 500 keeps chugging higher, and we had a little bit of a pullback on Friday afternoon. You can see a decent drop there, but the bears will have a lot of proving to do if they're going to get any follow through, because we've been seeing healthy rotation where semiconductors will get a big leg up, NVIDIA hitting new all-time highs, so they lead the way. While that's happening, the financial sector, healthcare, they're doing nothing, and then a monster move in healthcare, thanks in part to Trump. And I'm watching for healthcare to potentially get rotation Q4 2025, which is certainly off to a good start. But with all of that, you have the S&P 500, a bearish daily candle, but I'm just walking up the higher low guides. Again, there's two check marks the bears need. Number one, lose the daily uptrend. And that's happened a couple of times along the way. Back here, solid drop, end of July, start of August, we lost the daily uptrend. Check one. Check mark number two, did you confirm the daily downtrend? No. You have to get both check marks for us to say something is clearly shifting in the market. So check mark number one, just walk up these higher lows. We held it there, another higher low there. So I'm saying anything above the low of Wednesday is another higher low. So heading into this coming week, the low of Wednesday is the support level that I care most about. And nothing changes until it is lost, if it is lost. We are in, as you know, massive euphoria. We are in a melt-up market, and I'm going to be looking for a blow-off top, but I also know that I shouldn't have any expectation of nailing that top. If we get up over 7,000 plus, the probabilities of blow-off top will continue to increase. So that's my approach to the market right now. I'm not fighting the bulls from a broader market perspective. I am going to fight some bulls in quantum. I'll talk about that a bit when we get there, but not going to fight the bulls in the broader market and not going to go aggressively short until I get clear indication that something has shifted. And until then, I'll keep looking for swing longs where it makes sense. And most recently, the healthcare sector is where some swing longs made sense, just in the sense that we're not buying something that's already been going straight up for 5 months. It's looking for the things that are waiting for their rotation turn. Because in this very strong market, it's just a game of rotation. Inter-sector rotation, intra-sector rotation, both of them. NASDAQ, more of a pullback on Friday. We did start daily consolidation, but again, as we know, we got daily EMA 12 as a guide. We've got the higher lows as a guide. Low of Wednesday is what I care about. And if you're not looking at the futures chart, just pull up QQQ or SPY. Low of Tuesday actually is the level there, but 596.10. Hold that level this coming week. Bulls maintain complete control. Semiconductors, straight up on the weekly chart now, 5 weeks in a row. Daily chart, big leg up this week. Just started consolidation Friday. There's a little gap to fill, 334.11. Daily EMA 12 rider. Tons of space for a daily higher low. And again, it was just NVDA trading sideways for a couple of months, breaking bull to a new all-time high. And now it's back testing this resistance zone. Look at how stubborn 184s were. And now we're trying to hold those for the higher low. So while, again, this is, I always get them confused. Should have looked it up before. Interstate. So intrasector is when we get NVIDIA going sideways and we get MU getting a big leg up, AMD getting a big leg up. Oh, they gave it back. Got to hold this back test. They had some news, INTC news, but resistance 164s, got to form that higher low now. But anyways, MU and NVDA playing some leapfrog. TSM has been strong, as we know. So semiconductors overall still holding on just fine, and we'll see if the daily uptrend can remain. But while that's been taking place, healthcare had its most bullish week really, of the year. The most bullish week of the year. So we know healthcare has been our lead bear major sector and hasn't really done anything. We just traded sideways for 5 months, and that has now broken bullish. We just confirmed a clear weekly uptrend, and the bulls are hoping This is a yearly higher low. We started yearly consolidation this year. Go to the 3-month time frame. One thing I'm going to be watching for is this a 3-month head and shoulders, which would mean a big shift is underway, but obviously no sign of it at this point, and just going to continue taking it 1 week at a time as far as the long-term time frame. But big move here. We know UNH has been a nice bouncer off of those valuations that were pretty wild when it was getting extreme in the sentiment. But look at how the bulls are defending the gap fills here. So we gap up, hold it, sideways, leg up. And then there's another gap here. Hold it, sideways, another leg up. Granted, big upper wick on Friday's candle. Daily uptrend is our guide. Again, daily EMA 12 rider. We've been holding this daily EMA 12 for over a month, 6 weeks. Nothing changes as long as we're holding it. Eventually, we'll see weekly consolidation, but we're working into this gap fill. The gap fill is 376.84, and we came within $9 of that on Friday. LLY. So here's Trump signaling LLY. And I posted this on Twitter, but I grabbed LLY when I thought it was chasing in the 740s. So I didn't grab a large swing position. I grabbed a starter that I wanted to add to, and then we just go straight up. And Trump talked about LLY, and I bought it after that. And again, just straight up $100+, 15% in a few days from that point. And my mindset, my thesis was, okay, I'm looking for a 3-month higher low off EMA 12. I look at the long term and say, okay, we've been consolidating over a year. There's nothing bearish about this long-term consolidation after going straight up for so long. It's a potential bull flag. I then zoom into the 2-week time frame and say, okay, if we're going to set a 3-month higher low, what's that going to look like? And I talked a bit about this in our long-term patterns live stream that's on our YouTube channel, and definitely check that out. But this falling wedge broke bull. And what else was key for me is why I entered. If we confirm this weekly uptrend, which we hadn't at that point, but if we do, that's the first weekly uptrend since all-time highs. That's bulls showing us something is shifting. And so, a nice shift. And again, the Trump trade, it's unreal. He didn't do this in his first term nearly as much as he's doing it right now. But, INTC, he gives a clue where, a White House official or whatever will say something, and then we get the official word. So it's almost like a heads up, and then here we go. And that's why we're looking so closely at cannabis. But we had, the big move, the big gap up, we pull back, we set a daily higher low, and then big time continuation. LAC did it with lithium. We get word that Trump's interested, 150%. We pull back, we set the daily higher low. It's official, monster follow through. From that daily higher low to the high of Friday is like 80% in 4 days. 150%, 80%. It's just, he said buy the stock market at the Trump bottom right before going by. It doesn't matter if you hate the dude. He's helping you make money in the stock market. It's like a leader of a trading group that has 300 million followers or whatever. It's wild, but it's keep doing it until it stops working is definitely our mindset and approach. And, American companies, F got a little bump from some focus shifting toward, and he said something about the automotive, American auto companies, and that leads to Ford breaking a sideways range for months in a nice big bull move. Anyways, it's a wild game we're playing here. So, back, healthcare, rotation, looking great. Next major zone that we're looking at is up here. And one thing that I want to see is XLV divided by SPY. And we are on the verge of getting to 3-month highs, 2.5-month highs in terms of the strongest healthcare has been to the S&P 500. And so I'm watching, is this going to be more significant rotation? It doesn't have to be a groundbreaking shift, but this is a big bounce. This is a big bounce. Are we about to get another monthly bounce where it's better to be in healthcare than a bunch of other sectors into the end of the year? We have some early indications for that. Again, my trading style is establish a thesis and then watch every day, every week for signs that increase probabilities I'm correct or decrease probabilities that I'm correct. And so far in what, three trading days of this month, probabilities keep increasing for that thesis. Biotech sector has been on fire as well. It's testing a major resistance zone. Look at this monthly chart. So biotechs are trying to get to the highest level that we've seen in 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And so big move up off the lows, major resistance zone being tested. I'd love a bull flag here. I'd love a weekly bull flag, really, if I'm going to be as comfortable as I can be. But I have missed the majority of this move. I got some pieces of it on the way. I was choosing between IWM and XBI. IWM has gone up, but XBI was the better choice. And again, just daily EMA 12 rider. We've been riding daily EMA 12 for 6 weeks at this point. We've got a lot of space for a daily higher low to form. We'll be watching an hourly back burner for that daily higher low. Financial sector not doing anything. So again, in this rotational market, does that mean we're going to get a leg up here soon? Maybe. I'm less interested in it just because, I mean, really from the high, you look at the high of June, so July, August, 3+ months, and we are only up less than 1%. 1% from that, 1% in 3 months isn't much in this market. Mostly sideways. Again, hanging on just fine. Weekly EMA 12 is support. No major red flags. We are in a daily downtrend. Lower high, lower low. We'll see if that continues, but mostly just chopping sideways. IWM, new all-time high Friday, not by much. Upper wick of some profit taking. And again, the big one for me, I've been watching this for a while, had a thesis. The thesis back a couple months was, do we see rotation out of the NASDAQ into healthcare, biotech, and IWM? We're seeing some signs of it, but IWM still has proving to do. IWM divided by QQQ, big green day of relative strength Friday, got to confirm this weekly uptrend. When's the last time we've confirmed a weekly uptrend? It has not happened this year. So again, another thing where if this confirms, that will be showing us, yep, that's the rotation underway, but still proving to be done. And really the financial sector needs to help a bit more just because the IWM does have a significant amount of financial names, small cap financial names, but still keeping an eye on that. I still haven't gotten the information as to whether I'm right or wrong yet. Waiting for that in this month. October should resolve if we're going to get another clear leg down or confirm that uptrend. All right, individual names. Tesla, sell the news event. Had a big gap up, big bearish engulfing. Why was it a sell the news event? I thought they had a ton of deliveries. So the fundamental reason it's a sell the news event is, yeah, you have huge deliveries, but the incentives are going away. So the deliveries are being front run, just like the way guns do. If everybody thinks there's going to be gun regulations, everybody goes out and buys guns, and then maybe for the next month or the next quarter, gun sales are much lower because everybody that was going to buy one went out and bought one. So same thing with EVs. They're anticipating next quarter way lower numbers because everybody that was going to buy one went out and bought one while the incentives were still in place. So something to keep an eye on. No major red flags. I mean, we were going straight up towards all-time highs here, and we had very limited resistance left before that all-time high. But we'll look for a weekly pullback, which technically did start. Right now, the 14s are a support level, but there's a lot of space for a weekly higher low. So next step for the bears, again, step one, lose the daily uptrend. Bears have one check mark because we lost the higher lows. Step two, confirm the daily downtrend to prove the follow through. And we're still waiting to see if that takes place, but definitely a lead bear Thursday and Friday for Tesla. All right, quantum. I just made a post on Twitter. So quantum is at a point where, generally when I'm teaching people technical analysis, do not short blue sky bulls. And that is a true statement for people newer to trading. I am shorting the blue sky. Well, I'm long and short, really. I still got an IONQ swing position, added a little bit for the daily higher low. I'm out to add, still in the original swing from the 42s or something. And, walk my stop up now under that level. All-time high in play. If IONQ rejects, we're going to look for an equilibrium this coming week. But I'm just going to keep walking up a stop on that swing. But I am shorter term shorting again. And the reason is this is a mania. I've got a lot of experience in euphoric mania markets, cannabis, crypto, 3D printing, and they all end the same way with, I'm extreme. The last time I was really adamant, we dropped 70% in 4 days on some of these names. And granted, astounding recovery to be able to recover from that. The melt up broader market certainly helps, but I'm in the mindset now again where RGTI, QBTS, I'm looking for a 50% pullback. I think it'll take weeks and months for that to happen, not 4 days. But these valuations make absolutely no sense. And just today, I posted on Twitter, someone posted the headquarters of RGTI and what the building looks like. And I went around and looked at a couple $10 billion valuation companies, and their headquarters are these, the streets named after the company, and they're these huge, massive buildings. And RGTI is this little dinky thing, $11 billion valuation. It's just what happens with euphoria markets is the market. Think of how easy it is for the market to price things in by pushing buttons. Think of how fast it can happen, right? The market is currently pricing in for quantum absolute best case scenario for the next few years. And so anything less than absolute best case scenario, we're going to be misvalued. The valuations aren't going to make sense. And so that's what leads to these major drawdowns. And that's not anything prolific. I'm not making a wild, bold call, because as we know, every major company that has succeeded over decades sees the 50 to 70% drawdowns, whether it's during the bear market or the tech bubble or whatever it is. So I have decided, I've had a lot of fun short. I've been playing both directions, but I have been having a bear lean more. And, shorting RGTI and QBTS, this looks like a little dinky bull flag, and it is, nice continuation there. But that made my month. Shorting those names for 2 days made my month in September, and I'm looking to do it again. I have a goal now of I'm going to short quantum, and it's going to be my biggest short win ever, swing trade. And that's just because there's not a large sample size. I don't really swing short often or with any kind of size and conviction. My edge is oversold bounces and playing longs. And I'm having a lot of fun shorting these names. And it's forgiving in the sense that we get the moves to position. So just an example of that, and I was having deja vu Friday because it was the same thing last week. Last week, I would short the morning and take profit on 50 to 75% of the position and leave a runner, and then the bulls would recover. And so I'd have, a 3-4 day maker, and I'd end up with a day maker. And not yet. Okay. And then when it finally did get some follow through, I ended up with, a couple week maker. And so it's the same thing. Friday morning, I short, and I get some positions in the 37s, and we drop down, and I sell 3/4 of my position on a, nothing massive, 4% drop, 5% drop. And then we recover, and I was up a 3-day maker, and I end up the day up a half-day maker. I made money shorting RGTI on Friday. Candle doesn't look like it, but it's because of the partial positions. So anyways, every time we do this and we close high, it's like, all right, doing it again Monday. Hope we gap up. And again, it's just me having a lot of confidence in my ability to navigate the short-term timeframes. And, I had 30 to 40 orders of RGTI on Friday. Short, cover, that kind of deal. But I will be shorting. I will be holding for weekly consolidation. It's going to be very psychologically challenging for me. That's why I'm having so much fun, is this is a challenge in a market environment in 2025 that's been, easy for bulls. And I'm looking forward to challenging myself and working on the psychological requirements for holding a swing trade short through some big bounces, holding a core. Again, I'll always be trading around it, but that is my game plan. And whether or not I choose RGTI or QBTS, I'm not sure yet. They shift a little bit. Generally, RGTI is the lead bull, but Friday morning, QBTS was stronger. So that is, anyways, I don't suggest anybody do what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing because I'm excited about it. It's fun. I'm having fun. This is you look at this chart and say, this is the most shorting this is the most fun I've had in the stock market in 2025. It seems kind of crazy to say that, but again, it's just the challenge and it's the new thing. It's not just the standard. When you're a good trader, doing your edge and doing your thing gets boring, as it should. You don't want the high adrenaline and the rush. So this is just a bit of a difference in that for me. So just sharing. But bulls still have complete control. And the guide is the hourly EMA 12 rider. As long as, even the Friday pullback, if hourly EMA 12 holds, the bulls are going to close just fine. And so that's what happened. And, take short profit into hourly EMA 12. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to next week to go for it again. And then, I'll hold to hourly oversold will be an initial target, and then I'll trim some there for the daily high or low. And it's a lot of active management, of course. Uranium, OKLO had a nice bounce. It was actually a laggard on Thursday. The quantum name shot up on the morning. Let's just do a quick comparison. So RGTI Thursday morning, bulls were there right out of the gate. Monster move. Within 30 minutes, you could see, you got your morning volume surge on RGTI. Your worst entry on that morning volume surge is 31.95. And 30 minutes later, we're up at 35.81. So again, we're in a market environment where it's back burners, EMA 12 riders, and morning volume surges. I've talked about that in some recent videos where those are my 3 strategies for euphoric bull markets. And so bulls in full control in 30 minutes. Look at OKLO. OKLO did nothing for 45 minutes. An hour, it did nothing. And then bulls showed up. It was a laggard move. And I've talked in the past in these videos about how, these companies aren't directly related, but I see them trading similarly and wondering if that's just the connection people are making. Number one, blue sky breakout euphoria, but quantum's going to need major energy, and uranium's the energy of the future. And anyways, OKLO at this point. Nice hold of support, break of resistance, gap is now filled. I would be watching for a potential lower high compared to the 140s, and I wouldn't be surprised to just tighten up within this range for a while. But burdens on bears in the short term after bulls ended the last week strong. CCJ leader in uranium, chopping around sideways, again, just a standard equilibrium. I was highlighting that's why the drawing is here. The similarities of this move, big gap up, pullback, gap down, higher low. So there's your big pullback from all-time highs, gap down, higher low. Just a tightening daily range, standard equilibrium. We'll see how that breaks. But that's all my focus is going to be on quantum this coming week. I am going to be on the road Monday, so it's going to be tricky going to a music festival this weekend. So that inherently means I'm going to use less size. But we'll see. So that's pretty much what I'm watching for individual names. Let's go commodities. We'll talk cannabis real quick. So cannabis, again, one of the reasons I've been interested in cannabis sector for 15 years, but one of the reasons I'm more interested now is because Trump is telegraphing clues about potential rescheduling. And again, if it's anything like all the other clues that he's given in these other names that then rip when he follows through, that's why the probabilities are high that we're going to get rescheduling news. What we don't know is when. Could be tomorrow, could be 3 months. I have no idea. But I'm expecting MSOS to chop around within the $4 to $6 range for a while. It's a very wide range. We're right near the middle of it. So I wouldn't be surprised for just, choppy action around here until we get some kind of news or catalyst. TLRY, I'm watching the 4-hour tightening range. Sold some into this pop into resistance, reloaded support. But it's just a waiting game for this sector. Waiting for a green light, and we'll see if we get it. Dollar, weekly EMA 12, is it resistance? Yeah, that's another rejection for me. So last week we said, got to pay attention. Things might be shifting because we closed right on it. That was 98.10, and we closed at 98.18. So right on that EMA 12, but it's still resistance. So no change just yet. Daily time frame. Again, just chopping around here. While that's going on, we know the metals have been on fire. Still just riding daily EMA 12. Gold, Friday, strongest close ever. Silver, still itching for all-time highs. We're within a few percent of that right now. And lots of volatility. We had a big drop Thursday. Hourly back burner. Go to silver. Futures. Back burner. Hourly. So hourly back burner into a new high. It's exactly what bulls want to see. Definitely, it's tricky. You got to manage your risk because, is that a climax top? It's more of a sucker punch, sucker punch drop, got to confirm the downtrend. But, you can still take the trade. You just got to be tight with the stop because you don't want to be trying to buy a back burner right into a euphoria top. But bulls pulled it out again. And so now we have a base of support on silver. Pretty much I'm waiting for metals to confirm the first 4-hour downtrend in a while for a meaningful shift. And I'm watching, I'm not going to sell my silver position that I've been holding for a very long time during weekly. I will sit through weekly consolidation with it because there's so much space for a higher low. But I do want to grab short miners. I want to grab dust for it. I want to soften the drawdown that my IRA sees because silver is now 11 or 12% of my IRA as it keeps going up. And so I've been nibbling around here and there. I stop out, break even on a dust attempt. I have a little tiny starter right now that I want to add to, but I need signs. I need to lose daily EMA 12, and I'll grab some more position for weekly consolidation. That's my game plan for the metals. Oil. Back down. Oh, I didn't know we dropped that hard. I don't really pay attention to oil during the week. So yeah, we broke support. Lowest level for oil in months. Still monthly pullback. It's going to have to be a monthly inverse head and shoulders if bulls are going to take over. And it would have to be this. There's a very clear resistance zone, 74, 75. And we would need to set the monthly higher low and higher high. That's not the most likely scenario for me at this point. At this point, I'm watching for an equilibrium on the monthly because of retracement size. We've given back 60% of that bounce. So I'm going to be watching for the possibility of a monthly equilibrium into 2026, but no sign of a monthly higher low yet. Natural gas. So yeah, still very weak. Still trying, UNG's trying to hold this low. NG's trying to hold that low, but just not doing anything. So I don't have any interest. That's it. That's what I'm watching. I'm again loving the RGTI volatility in both directions. Tesla's my most profitable in my day trade account. It's my most profitable ticker this year, and RGTI is number 2. And again, both directions, both long and short. And I'm excited. I'm excited to try again. So we'll see. Do good things. Appreciate you watching. Check out the long-term patterns live stream from last week. That's on our YouTube channel. There's a whole playlist of 10 long-term patterns videos. And I hope you have a great October. 2 days ago, this pumpkin had a couple bunny nibbles out of it, and it was still attached to the vine. And I came out yesterday, and that is a bear trying to get into the pumpkin. How do I know it's a bear, aside from the giant teeth holes? Because I can tell the bear went in the pond. You can see these plants are crushed over. And this is a floaty I put in here to give the fish some shade because the tree fell. And you can see the dirt where the bear had muddy arms from walking in the mud and then put his arms on top of the floaty. I wish I could have seen him playing around on it. But that wasn't dirty like that a couple days ago.